page. Wouldn't you like to see something strange? Come with us and you will see. It's our world of Halloween. Oh, this is Halloween, this is Halloween.
Pumpkins scream in the dead of night.
This is Halloween, everybody make a scene. Trick or treat till the neighbor's gonna die of fright.
Hello, I'm the reviewer. You review it, I review you. This is my partner, Mr. It. Today, we continue Doggin's trip down the Haunted Mansion rabbit hole with the adaptations of the 90s.
Then there's a pretty long gap in adaptations that I've been able to find. I haven't found anything for the rest of the 70s or anything at all for the 80s.
Yeah, the only mildly interesting thing I could find was that in the 80s they added an actor in a night costume to the endless hallway to jump scare guests.
The next proper adaptation I could find was released 6,680 days after the Mouse Factory episode. If they had just released this 20 days earlier, we could have kept to a spooky theme, but no.
Me. I'm just wondering what possessed him to literally count the days.
But this is a big one because June 1st, 1990 saw the release of the first video game representation I have been able to find of the Haunted Mansion. I refer, of course, to Adventures in the Magic Kingdom for the NES.
I'm surprised that didn't come out in the 80s. Maybe I'm just too young, but when I think of Nintendo consoles in the 90s, my mind goes to the Super Nintendo and the N64.
One of many beloved Disney games made by Capcom.
And yet the only one that hasn't seen a re-release.
In this game, Goofy has lost the keys to the castle, and you have to find them by getting to the end of attraction minigames and by answering trivia.
So what you're saying is...
Find the key, oh how happy you'll be.
So when this game advertises itself as Adventures in the Magic Kingdom, it's not saying that it's Adventures in the Magic Kingdom Trademark Park located at 11807 Seas Drive, Lake Buena Vista, Florida 32830.
How dare you dox this public place?
It means adventures in a hypothetical amalgamation of all Magic Kingdoms. Adventures in the idea of a Magic Kingdom.
So what you're saying is...
These characters are visiting a fictional hybrid of Disneyland and Disney World.
That way they're legally not claiming that this is the adventure you'll have when you visit any specific Magic Kingdom.
One would think that would be obvious, but people have been sued for far stupider.
Because the Haunted Mansion at all those is an Omnimover ride and not a side-scrolling platformer.
Well, not with that attitude.
So the level begins, and the first thing you see is this really scary ghost guy, and...
Okay, now these depictions of Leota are just getting insulting.
Then there's some tedious platforming as you hop across floating chairs and chandeliers, and you eventually find a different shaped floating chair.
Good. That way you know it's the end of the segment. Hell, given that the other model was used for previous transitions, this one really should have been used for the platforming.
Anyway, 2.5 months later, in August of 1990, the Disney Sing-Along Songs line released Disneyland Fun.
Oh god, I had that tape. The nostalgia's gonna hit me hard.
The first Disney Sing-Along Songs video to consist mostly of original footage, and not just musical numbers from movies framed with redubbed Professor Owl, Jiminy Cricket, or Ludwig von Drake footage.
Truth be told, I always thought Professor Owl was made for these sing-along tapes. Honestly, the only thing I really want to comment on in this segment is how similar his experience with this video and the mansion itself is to my own. Almost scarily so, in fact.
So let's jump to 1994 when we got a couple of Haunted Mansion adaptations, starting with a pop-up book.
I don't know why, pop-up books have always just kind of been a weird concept to me.
I bought this used copy online that was advertised as being in pretty good condition, and, you know, it starts out in pretty good condition. And of course, then it's, missing some things.
Buying on eBay really is just gambling you can do under 21.
Also in 1994, we got something I've spoken about before, the television series Walt Disney World Inside Out.
Not really the Disney Inside Out people think of today, is it?
The Haunted Mansion level starts off immediately with more recognizable mansion iconography than Adventures in the Magic Kingdom did by showing us a stretching room portrait. And it's actually a squash and stretch portrait. Okay, that's not the way those portraits stretch, but, the spirit is there.
Indeed it is, and apparently said spirit is trying to kill you.
You have to race this ghost up to the top of the stairs to get to the door before he blocks it, and you have to land on these buttons to open the stairs while he just gets to float up to the top.
I'm getting flashbacks to DuckTales Remastered.
The next year would see the publication of Enter If You Dare, Scary Tales from the Haunted Mansion.
If it wasn't for Goosebumps, I'd swear that the tagline would have been, "You're in for a scare."
The same team also published one based on Pirates of the Caribbean, which I did not buy and have not read because it's not relevant to this video, but, you know, maybe someday if the people demand it.
I'd say demand it, but I'm legitimately concerned he'll make a full video like this for Pirates, and I don't think his psyche can handle another rabbit hole like this.
And we'll see if you get to the end.
Look, my attention span's not what it used to be, but I think I can make it through 75 pages.
Famous last words.
I am Ezekiel. I work for Madame Blackheart, who just moved into the big house there.
Hey, this book gave Leota a last name. Neat. Leota Blackheart, psychic at law.
Why a lawyer? What, was a psychic detective too obvious?
He led the boys into a cavernous parlor.
Your cavernous parlor betrays an aura of foreboding. Sorry, couldn't resist.
Hey, I'm just glad I wasn't the only one who was thinking it.
And the other?
Madame Blackheart's voice rose, becoming thin and shrill like an icy wind.
The other shall spend all of his days in an asylum for the hopelessly insane.
Okay, a bit of a nitpick, but maybe do another take on that line. Not that it was a bad read, but her cadence stayed the same instead of matching the description.
Man, Goofus and Gallant is way more intense than I remember.
Yeah, maybe it's because the idea of asylum imprisonment personally freaks me out, but this is pretty messed up for a YA novel.
That's my genuine autographed Joe Montana. I gotta get it back. My grandfather gave me that ball.
Maybe you should use a less cherished ball to play catch with, period, let alone next to a haunted mansion?
But then how else are we gonna rip off the Sandlot?
And he's warned that he has to keep playing for the entire party or else he's doomed. There's no stopping. So, clearly this is a warning against trying to make a career out of your artistic passion.
So anyway, link to our Patreon is in the description.
You think it's gonna be fun, but then you just have to keep doing it forever.
Still beats working customer service.
Okay, game starts and... hey, Leota let her hair down. She looks good.
First time that's happened in these adaptations.
More prominently in 1998, we got another sing-along video, this one more focused on the mansion. Sort of. This one came out after I outgrew sing-along songs, so I never really watched it until researching this video, and this is the one that's breaking me.
And considering that you're only 1 hour into this 3.5-hour excursion, that is concerning.
So this is allegedly a Halloween party at the Haunted Mansion, and we open with our invitation to the party, and then we get Corey Burton. Sure, makes sense, right? Corey Burton. He's the go-to Paul Frees sound-alike, so why wouldn't he play the ghost host?
Budget cuts?
Here's the thing. He's not playing the ghost host, he's playing the magic mirror. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, wait, wasn't Tony Jay the standard voice of the magic mirror at this point in Disney history?
True, but eventually Corey Burton did take over Jay's roles after his passing.
Corey's not playing the normal magic mirror.
The idea of calling any version of the magic mirror normal.
He's playing the weird live-action Hans Conried magic mirror.
The Southern Isles what now?
So for those who don't know, in a number of Disney television specials, most notably 1 Hour in Wonderland, Hans Conried, Captain Hook himself, played a weird live-action version of the magic mirror who could interact with Walt and his guests and cause Charlie McCarthy to be skeptical.
I am here, master.
It's some kind of gag.
Oh, Charlie, you shouldn't throw stones when I can see Bergen's lips moving.
I know this isn't the point, but I don't think any ventriloquist is 100% effective at that.
Having Corey do Conried as a throwback to specials that the target audience doesn't remember is a deliberate choice to do some real deep Disney fan service.
Personally, I respect the hell out of it. And if it's the target audience that you're worried about, I don't think the kids are gonna care that Corey Burton isn't playing the ghost host either. At most, they may be asking why Captain Hook is green now.
This thing is called Party at Disneyland, and the only other scene at Disneyland is in the land that hadn't opened yet when they did their other Disneyland sing-along, so sure, they gotta promote that Toontown, but no mansion characters, just Merlin.
The night's magic is not yet done.
Given that Corey Burton is in this, I'm surprised that's not Yensid. Though that costume does look like an unholy fusion of the two.
A little golden coloring book called either The Haunted Mansion or The Haunted Mansion Haunted Happenings, depending on if you're reading the cover or the title page.
Look, sometimes you just can't decide.
Mickey was walking into his office when he got a phone call.
Why is the sign on the window facing in the office?
Have you seen how often this business changes? A mistake like this was bound to happen sooner or later.
Yes, we've cleaned big houses before. We'll be right over.
Wow, an immediate appointment. You just have no bookings.
And that would explain why the business changes every other week.
These big rocks have poems written on them, Goofy told Donald.
Yeah, and just wait until the overflow queue has interactive gags that get boring way faster than you'd expect.
To the point where Disney doesn't even use them anymore. Either that or they're seasonal. All I know is that they were turned off when we were last there.
I want you to meet Mr. Ghoul. This is his house.
That is clearly Lurch.
Hey, if the Addams Family can do a crossover with Scooby-Doo, then why the hell not?
You don't own the place, you're just a butler and you're pretending while the master's away.
Hey, either way, the house is getting cleaned.
Donald notes that the house kind of reminds him of the Disney World Haunted Mansion.
Wait, the Haunted Mansion attraction exists separately from this real Haunted Mansion that looks exactly like it? That is overly complicated lore for a coloring book.
You clearly have never read the Gravity Falls coloring book.
Donald and Goofy ran right past Minnie and Daisy. The girls were having a chat with Mr. Ghoul's wife, Madame Leota.
Whoa, bombshell! Leota's married to Mr. Ghoul?
Jealous?
Also, this art of Leota is clearly Madame Medusa.
I'm not sure about that, but let's just say I can see this version of Leota being played by Jennifer Tilly.
Would you like to join us? Asked one of the party hosts. Thank you, but we've got to run, said Mickey. And that's just what he and Minnie did.
Okay, but none of these ghosts have been threatening or even unfriendly in any way. Mickey and the gang are just straight up prejudiced against ghosts.
So basically the one joke Casper ever had. All I can really say about this part that I haven't said about the previous one is, damn, there was a surprising amount of stuff in the 90s. I'm the review reviewer. You review it, I review you. You're telling me you have no idea where they are?
Look, if we knew where to find CarQuest, we would have done it by now.
Reviewer, I've got good news and bad news. The good news is we found Messi. The bad news is, so is the entire coast of California.
What?
Reports are coming in of a giant slime creature just off the west coast of the United States? What kind of tabloid bulldookie is this? I don't get paid enough for this.
I've got an idea.
Okay. What are you gonna do?
Messi needs her emotional support animal.